Okay, so we have discussed about how important it is to be a good reader. When you read, there are many things that happen in your head. So as you call the words, you must pair the calling of words with your own thinking. And real reading is thinking. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. And I'm just going to show you what I'm talking about. So I'm going to read just a little bit of this, and I want you to see how I do this, okay? So here's the passage about, it says, where chocolate comes from. It might surprise you to learn that chocolate actually grows on trees. That doesn't mean that you can pick a chunk of chocolate from a tree branch and eat it. In fact, the chocolate growing on trees looks, tastes, and smells nothing like the chocolate you eat. The tree that gives us chocolate is the cacao tree. It is an evergreen tree that can grow to be over 40 feet tall. Chocolate comes from beans that are found in large pods on the tree. Cacao trees grow where it is hot and wet. Mostly they grow near the equator when these trees need protection from the wind and sun, but as they grow older, they can grow in full sunlight. Okay, now the problem with that was I read it, but I didn't think about anything that I was reading. So I was just reading. And it sounded good, but I wasn't thinking about anything. I couldn't tell you anything that was about, something about a cacao tree. Okay, so the point is that when we're reading, we have to make sure that we stop and think as we're reading in our heads or whatever, so that we understand what it is we're reading. So, we are going to, so I'm going to show you how kind of I do this, and I'm going to use these tiles. This is going to represent me reading, and then the colored tiles are going to represent me thinking as I read, okay? So I'm going to try it again. It says, it might surprise you to learn that chocolate actually grows on trees, okay? And I'm thinking right now, my Hershey bar comes from a tree, okay? That doesn't mean that you can pick a chunk of chocolate from a tree branch and eat it, okay? So that makes more sense. In fact, the chocolate growing on trees looks, tastes, and smells nothing like the chocolate that you eat. So I'm thinking, what does it look like if it doesn't look like the chocolate that I eat, okay? The tree that gives us chocolate is the cacao tree. It is an evergreen tree that can grow to be over 40 feet tall. So I'm thinking, an evergreen, is that like a Christmas tree? Is that 40 feet tall? That's like, gosh, I'm 5'8", so that's like 4 or 5 times greater than me. So that's pretty tall. Okay. Chocolate comes from beans that are found in large pods on the tree. Beans? Okay, so now I'm thinking a bean. When I think of a bean, I think of the peas, the green peas in the pods. Don't know if that's what they're talking about. Okay, so cacao trees grow where it is hot and wet. And so I'm thinking that could be like the rainforest or Africa, South America. Like, where exactly is that? Okay, when these trees need protection from the wind and sun, they grow near the equator, it said, but as they grow older, they can grow in full sunlight. So I'm thinking it's got to be close to rainforest if it's near the equator. Okay, so did you see how this represented my reading, the colorful tiles represented my thinking? So as you're reading, you're going along and you're stopping and thinking, okay, what this sentence said this, okay, so I need to know what are my questions? What questions do I have? What are my thoughts? And some things that we do is we use these little thinking stems. I'm thinking, I'm noticing, I'm wondering, I'm seeing, and I'm feeling. So these are just a few things that you can use, okay? So now we're gonna practice this, and we're gonna try it with a different book, and I'm gonna give you. Let's see what we can go to here. Okay, and why don't we do one? Do you want Australia? Okay, let's do that. Okay, so as you're doing this, let's open this up. I'm gonna put these back out here. And I want you, these are going to be your tiles for reading, okay? And when you get to a place where you have a question or you're wondering something, you can grab one of these color tiles and stop and ask your question, okay? Does that make sense? Okay. All right, so let's go to go to this one. You want to go to this one?
Yeah.
Okay. And when you get ready, you can click to the next thing, okay? You ready?
Australia's animals are amazing. Because of the continent's isolation and harsh conditions, animals seen nowhere else on Earth have developed. Wow. Like, it says like nowhere else on Earth have developed. So that's kind of cool.
So that could be one of your thinkings. So
I just drop it?
okay, because it's in isolation, and if you saw it on a map, you know that island is all by itself out in the ocean, way away from everybody else. So, okay, so keep going.
Today, some of these animals are threatened. As cities grow larger, the natural areas have grown smaller. Homes and food for some animals are becoming scarce. I think that's kind of like scary for them and stuff.
Now, let me ask you, if you come to a word, like the word scarce, you could actually stop and think, okay, what does scarce mean? And really ask yourself that. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So do you know what scarce means?
Like very little? Scary little?
Are you talking about like scary, like monster scary?
Like dwindling or?
Okay, let's see. Homes and food for some animals are becoming scarce.
So like hard to find?
Hard to find, okay? So that means there's very little. And and it said, because some of these animals are threatened, because cities are growing larger, food has become scarce, and homes also.
Mm-hmm.
So you can use your thinking to ask yourself about vocabulary words and things like that, okay? Keep going. Let's try a few more.
Only in Australia can you find a platypus. Oh, that's really cool. I thought you could find them in, like, America.
Oh, really?
I thought they were in zoos. Maybe I'm thinking of an otter.
Well, it could be. And there could be some maybe in zoos, but that's where they're actually from. So that's a good thinking as you're going, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
This one.
Yep. Good.
This unusual animal has 4 legs, fur, beady eyes, and a tail like a beaver's, a duck's bill, and webbed feet. I didn't know that, but yeah.
Good. So which part did you not know?
That is like fur. I thought it was like silk.
Oh, okay. So you thought they had kind of a smooth skin?
Yeah.
Okay.
When a British scientist first saw a platypus, he believed someone was playing a practical joke. An adult male platypus has a venomous spur on its back ankles. I don't know what a spur is.
Okay, so you've heard of spurs like from a cowboy. They walk and they have the spurs on their boots.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what those are?
Yeah.
They have those little things that
They hit it?
Yeah, they hit the horse with that makes them go, and they're metal usually, and they're spiky. So so when you can't think of a platypus with cowboy spurs,
Yeah.
but they have something on the back of their ankle that sticks out, and it's venomous. And so if something were to hit it, it's going to poison.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna use these for my reading.
Okay.
Although a platypus is a mammal, females lay eggs. There are around 700 types of Australian snakes and lizards. When one lizard, called a thorny devil, feels threatened, it inflates with air to look bigger and shows its skin spikes.
Mm-hmm.
If it's really scared, it tucks its head between its front legs, and a big spiny knob sticks out on the back of its neck, like a fake head.
Okay.
A thorn devil can...
Okay, so what'd you drop in there? Is that just reading?
Yeah, I did not have all that stuff. Big spiny knob sticks out and looks like a fake head.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so of these questioning or these thinking stems, which one? I've heard you say I'm thinking, but what about some of these other ones? Wondering what are some things that you were wondering about this?
Wondering what the fake head looks like.
Okay.
The spiny knob.
And what is something that you noticed in the text as you were reading? Maybe like these words.
Folding.
Okay, and also you've got the
in parentheses that have like definitions.
Okay, so that's something you could notice as you're reading. What about seeing?
Well, I can like see with pictures and like imagine what it looks like in my head and stuff.
Okay, good. And then what about feeling?
Kind of grossed out.
By
The two heads.
Okay.
And all these weird animals I didn't even know were real.
Okay, good. All right, so when you think about thinking as you're reading, it's kind of, we use these colored tiles and everything to kind of display that, but you can also think about the cereal Lucky Charms. You know how you have the beige part of the cereal, it's like the main cereal, and then you have the colorful marshmallows. So the beige part's just your reading, okay, and the colorful parts are going to be the marshmallows, and that's when you're thinking. That's when you're adding to your comprehension, because you're stopping and you're thinking about what you're reading, and you're not just going through and reading it. So that's what our main goal is, to stop, think, and use these thinking stems, and wonder, and you did a great job with those. You were able to pick out some things for each one of those things, okay? All right, and now you can apply this to your own reading, and this should help you with your comprehension. So, okay? All right.